everyone, it's Nikachu, and today we are going to take a look at infamous Alex Bertoncini, the probably most famous MTG cheater. I mean, he did it all. He got extra attacks in, he pre-sideboarded, he did tons of sleight of hand, he used Jedi mind tricks. And we're going to take a look at every single time he gets caught on camera. In this first video, we've got Alex Bertoncini on the left against an unsuspecting pony on the right. This is the famous 2 Explorers cheat, where Alex is going to get an extra land drop onto the battlefield over 3 turns. Can you catch it? Let's check it out. So at this point, we're at turn 3, but Alex has 6 lands in play. How is that possible? Turn 1, 1 land. Turn 2, you play an Explorer. Okay, you get a 3rd land in play. Now, turn 3, you get a land drop for the turn. That puts you at 4. You play another Explorer, that puts you at 5. But you got 6 in play. 6, that's a little one too many over there. How did that happen? Now, what Alex did is he played the Jedi mind tricks with his opponent. He's got 2 Explorers in the graveyard and convinces his opponent he still has a land drop to make for the turn. Opponent agrees and then gives him the green light to play that extra land drop. After all, if the opponent said so, he must be right.
What turn is it?
2 Explorers. Yep.
Turn 3 though? Who's turn 3?
My turn.
This is your turn 3, you have 6 lands, 5 lands off of 2 Explorer?
Yep. Right.
You should have 5 lands off of 2 Explorer. I think you played an extra land.
Now he's good.
You sure?
This actually proves that Alex is a cheater on another level, because the spectator filming the match says, "What turn is it?" implying, "Hey, did you put an extra land in play?" Alex registers that immediately and responds with 2 Explorers.
What turn is it?
2 Explorers.
You should have 5 lands off of 2 Explorer. I think you played an extra land.
See, this is what makes Alex Bertoncini one of the greats. Even with a camera staring down at every move he makes, even with stone cold logic from a spectator, he doesn't flinch, and his confidence was able to convince not only his opponent, but also the spectator that everything was fine. That's broken. I should also mention he moves so damn quickly when he's drawing his cards from Preordained. For all I know, he put them into his hand and exchanged them for another 2 cards, which is why he bought him the other 2. Oh my god, did you catch that? Like when he's done with his scrying and his preordained, picks up his entire deck, looks at the bottom as he puts the cards there. This guy will take edges at any opportunity. This video would cement Alex as one of the greatest cheaters of all time. So in our next match, we've got Vidianto Vijaya piloting blue-white control. And across from him is Alex Bertoncini piloting Merfolk in Legacy. And I have to say, Alex Bertoncini is an absolute abomination to the Fish fam. Merfolk is the fairest deck in Magic, and Alex decides to even the odds with some cheatsy plays. So for this next cheat, we gotta learn about a few cards. Alex will be wielding Kira Great Glass Spinner, flying. Creatures you control have whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability for the first time each turn, counter that spell or ability. The opponent will be wielding Jace the Mind Sculptor and Cursed Scroll. How do we kill a Kira Great Glass Spinner when it's going to counter the first spell or ability every turn? Well, the opponent will use the minus ability on Jace the Mind Sculptor to bounce the Kira. That ability will get countered, and then they'll activate the Cursed Scroll, dealing 2 damage to Kira Great Glass Spinner to kill it. Let's check the action.
There are definitely.
Or a Mishra's Factory in 2 mutables.
Oh, there you go. This is a game 2 situation. Where Alex is down a game.
It doesn't accomplish anything.
Well, but what I'm saying is that there's a lot of times where you see people who concede like dramatically before they should, especially in game 1 situations. For instance, like I was playing a match in the Legacy event today where my opponent thought seized my Mox Diamond and left me with like a hand of completely uncastable spells. And he just spent the entire game discard, while his Dark Confidant revealed cards that let me get information about his deck for game 2.
Yeah.
I mean, like I think a lot of players would just be like, I concede in frustration. But I mean, I was getting some kind of value there by getting information from what my opponent played and revealed from Confidant.
So we can see here, Jace activated, targeted the Kira. Kira countered that ability. Cursed Scroll targets Kira. Kira dies. Kira goes to the graveyard. You know how this works, Alex.
Absolutely. People concede way too often.
Agreed.
They just want to get out of that feeling bad that they're losing. They just want to stop.
They're just losing value every time that they do it.
The only times that I feel like it's right to concede is either when you're going to be giving away information, like if you start discarding, they don't know what your deck is, something like that, or if you're low on time. Like
I mean, there's a few other factors that can relate. Like for instance, I mean, under extreme circumstances, maybe you really need to go get some food or something. No, I'm serious. Like,
sure.
If it's but for the most part, if it's not game 1, if it's the final game, like if you're facing elimination,
right,
you're not going to win by conceding,
right?
You know, and you could always be wrong. Like, what if there is a way? People have won like unwinnable games before.
Yes. Exactly.
Ryan Kilgore's probably made a career out of winning winnable games.
All right, brainstorm here, VD.
Oh, I didn't mean it to be a dagger. I meant it to be a high compliment. Like having the just fortitude to not give up, and then people eventually make a mistake that if they would have just played tight, So Alex turtling up here, going into his shell, looking for a solution. I mean, he's running out of time for the solution to be Mutavault, Like I think he needs to draw Mishra's Factory next turn and then Mutavault the turn after. He needs to.
Yeah, he's got to have a good draw here. It's not unwinnable, but it certainly isn't a great situation.
There's a Caracas alongside him.
So he's going to throw away his Jace to Cursed Scroll down that Kira.
Alex, did you just put the Kira Great Glass Spinner back in your hand? Like, this thing's supposed to die. You did it a minute ago. This is what makes Alex one of the greats, because he'll just boldly cheat in front of his opponent, the commentators, thousands of people, and act like nothing ever happened.
All right, so here we go. He shifted to the bottom.
Shift to the bottom. So I mean, there are sequences here, because the Vidi's only at 8, and here even if he plays a Mutavault, he can hit for 2, hit Vidi, don't even hit Jace at this point, hit Vidi, knock him to 6 with 2 Mutavaults in play, and the next turn just draw Mishra's Factory.
I'm surprised Vidi served with that Medallion Click. I thought he'd want to leave it back to block that Mutavault potentially.
I think that Vidi might be slightly just wanting this to get over. Like, he's a little bit, he can tell that he's made a few, minor things, and he just, he's a little uncomfortable. He just wants to close it out,
Yeah. And that feeling where you're like, okay, I let this game slip away. I need to close it out.
No, but it's not even slipping away. This is one of those things where it's so far in the bag that you just don't want to be the guy who loses the 99.9%.
Right, exactly.
There's 13 and a half minutes left in the round.
Oh, wow. This game has taken quite a while. Game 1 was was that another Kira? Wow.
That is
it is another one.
Yeah, that's his third. He only has 2, right?
Trying to buy himself. So here, the interesting thing. The interesting thing here is that then if Jace tries to bounce it to fizzle so the Cursed Scroll can hit, he doesn't get the Fate Seal. Now the Ponder can.
Wow, he might have got away with this for a second time if it wasn't for his opponent reminding him that it's supposed to go to the graveyard. So this move only works because there's already a Kira in the graveyard. Alex can keep putting Kira back into his hand because Vidianta will just keep thinking it's dead. I love how the commentators are mentioning that Alex's only outs to this game is to basically catch your opponent cheating.
I think Alex has played at this point is hoping that Vidi does a game rule violation or something.
But why do that when you can cheat yourself? Now this next cheat is unconfirmed, but it's speculated that Alex drew 4 cards off of a brainstorm. Let's take a look at it. It's really hard to tell in this one. It looks like he drew 3, but then as he peels the cards into his hand, it turns into 4. But at the same time, the sleeves are in such a way that they get really wrinkly. It might give the illusion that 4 cards are being drawn when really it's just 3. Or is Alex intentionally playing with these kinds of sleeves to give you the impression that the sleeves are bending and rippling and that he's not drawn extra cards? In the end, Alex made a gigantic contribution to tournament magic. Wizards of the Coast used to have a policy of redemption. People should be given a second, third, and fourth chance. And Alex proved that to be wrong. Bertoncini was banned multiple times and never changed his ways, so Wizards banned him for life. Send him to the ban list. And since then, cheaters have been punished hard with much harsher penalties. Do not cheat. It disrespects your opponent, it disrespects the community, and it's a disrespect to the entire game. Earn your victories fairly, because once you're caught, you'll be tainted a cheater for forever. Well, that's my video for today, and let me know if you think Bertoncini drew 3 or 4 off that brainstorm. Smash like for banning cheaters, and if you want more videos like this, let me know by subscribing to my channel below, or Alex is gonna get unbanned.